Okay, today we talk about how the Almighty's kingdom will come on earth. I want you to consider the resonance um, that I've been talking about in my previous, most recent videos to this one. Um, Resonance is in everything. Mass resonates. They found that the most basic fundamental particles that we're composed of are resonating. Energy resonates, as you know, it's a wave. And to consider it to be a particle, you have to consider wavelets. A particle of an energy is just one wavelength of the wave, which is one wavelet. But it's still an energy form, but it's just a packet of energy. How you can say a packet of energy is a particle, I'll never know, but you consider it a particle. But anyway, mass also behaves the same way. So resonance, what that is an oscillation. Yeah, an oscillation that has phases. If you consider a somewhat exaggerated sinusoidal wave, you could see that, let's say this is an oscillation in the magnetic field. So you have an increased energy, or electric field, an increased energy, yeah, then a decrease, then a negative increase, then back to zero. So you see an oscillation, you see a particle having different energy profiles. It increases in energy, then it reduces to zero, then goes into a minus energy output, then increases to zero. Yeah, so when it increases, you could say, right, that's 1/4 of the way. When it goes to zero, that's half of the way. When it decreases to its maximum decrease, you say that's 1/3 of the way. And when it goes back to zero, that's a complete wave. Now, all the mass and energy we're composed of is doing this. Yeah, I want you to consider the way they consider parallel universes from what I've gathered. It depends on the observer. The observer is what fixes what phase the particle is in. Yeah, without the observer, it's in all these phases at the same time. So once you observe it either in this phase, that phase, or there could be an infinite number of divisions. It doesn't just have to be 1/4. You can divide it into hundreds, thousands, yeah, infinitesimally small steps. So that's how you can have an infinite number of universes. So imagine at the beginning, there had to be an observer who fixed this universe, yeah, for us to see. That would be the Almighty. Yeah, the observer that had to witness the universe for the universe to exist. Yeah, the universe is just one phase. Yeah, when energy resonates, let's say it reaches 1/4, our longest resonance, yeah, what you see there is just one phase. Yeah, so the universe we see is just one phase of an infinitesimally large amount of phases. Yeah, so I'll bring it down to human level. You have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 to correspond to that. Yeah, now when all the energy resonates and hits a golden frequency, which the nature of I'm not so sure at the moment, we all have our own individual resonances in our brain. Yeah, for us to realize this universe is just one phase, yeah, of many. Yeah, we all, those of us who are realizing this universe, are all realizing the same phase. Yeah, so there's a version of you who's realizing phase 1, which let's say is when all the energy is cumulatively at this phase in the total resonance. Yeah, and the reason why they see only like 20% of the mass and energy and the rest of it is dark, because the other energy is busy forming the other phases, the other universes, the other parallel universes. That's why you don't see it. You only see like 20% of the energy in the and mass according to your calculations. If you add up all the total energy of all the other phases, you should get one. Yeah, the reason why you can't see all the energy and mass is because it's busy forming. It's at other phases. Yeah. So if we have, let's say, someone at one of your versions is at phase 1. Yeah, realizing the universe when it's at phase 1. Another one of your versions is at phase 2, realizing the universe when it's at phase 2. Another one's at phase 3, and so forth. You could have an infinitesimal amount of yous. Different versions of you. And they exist at the same time. Because the mass and energy spends an infinitesimally small amount of time forming this universe. Yeah? If you take 1 second, for example, arbitrarily, you spend maybe, I don't know, just an arbitrary value, a millionth of a second forming this universe, another millionth forming another one. But we only see it, yeah, when it's forming this universe. Let's say the universe is at phase 2, let's say. We only see it when it's forming this universe. When it's busy forming other universes, we don't see it. Yeah? But it forms all of these universes within the time it takes us to realize a universe, I suppose. So it's not a second, it's probably how long does it take you to perceive something. I think they measured it. For you to perceive something, your brain takes 0.1 seconds. So within 0.1 second, yeah, it has formed all these other universes. It's oscillating every 0.1 seconds. It forms all the universes every 0.1 seconds. But we only see it when it's forming ours. So we see like picture frames, discretized picture frames, but only when it gets to this phase. So sorry, this phase, let's say. So only when it gets to this phase do we see it. But it gets to this phase every 0.1 seconds, let's say. Yeah. And every 0.1 second, if you do a picture flip book, yeah, and you do frames every 0.5 seconds, you see a continuous picture book, a continuous movement, and a continuous movie. So only when it reaches this phase do we see it. And then it goes on and forms all the other phases. It forms all these infinite amount of universes within 0.1 of a second. Yeah. So we only see it when it's at phase 2, let's say. So now, when you're about to open a door, yeah, you don't know which version of this guy you're gonna see. You don't know. He's got his own resonance. Yeah. He's got his own resonance. Yeah. So when you're about to open a door, all of them exist at the same time until you see it. Until you see what's out there, you don't know which one of these guys, you don't know which version of this guy. This is one person. You don't know which version of him you're gonna see. Yeah. So all of them exist at the same time. Then you go through the door, like going through a double slit. If you choose to go through this door, you might see this guy. If you choose to go through this door, yeah, you might see this guy. The same person, yeah, but let's say this person is facing forward and sitting down. This person, same guy, is facing that way. Same guy is standing up, and they might even be dressed different. But until you open the door, you don't know how he's going to look like, what is going to be in his head, what resonance he's going to have in his head. Yeah. So when you've also got resonance in your head. You open one of the doors, and you see this guy. Yeah, you could have seen any one of these guys, but now once you've seen these guys, it means that these guys are in a parallel universe, in a universe where it reaches this part of its oscillation, where the mass and energy reaches this part of its oscillation. These guys, yeah, are now in that phase, and these guys are in that phase, and you fixed it to see this guy. Yeah. Now the Almighty's kingdom will come the same way. The Almighty, the ultimate observer, he will come, and those who doesn't like to be in our phase of the universe, yeah, would disappear. Yeah. If you open the door, yeah, and you see this guy, when the Almighty comes, you start seeing this guy, this version of him, this who change which version of these people we're seeing. All the evil ones will cease to be in this universe. We'll only see the good ones, and that's how his kingdom will come, and that's what the Mandela effect is about. Yeah, the versions that were unpleasant are no longer with us. But that's man's work when they're doing psyops. Yeah, when they do a psyops, there will always be people who notice. When it's the Almighty, we'll just open the door one day, and we'll be in a universe where all the people who's hating never existed or don't exist. But we have to know, because we're the observer and we're the ones who will testify that this happened, to testify to the Almighty's glory. Yeah, we'll know, you know that people who hated you existed, but you open the door one day and you won't have that sensation, that feeling that someone's watching you and is hating on you, because they've been phased out naturally, yeah, by the resonance, and that's affected when the Almighty observes. He's the Almighty, he's the ultimate observer. When he observes this universe, he'll clean it up for us. Yeah, Christ has already come. Yeah, and all he has to do is observe, and he'll clean it up. Let's say this person was an evil person. This version of you is an evil version. This version of you is an evil version, but this is a good version. Yeah, or this is an evil version. That's an evil version, but that's a good version. And every time we open the door, we see the evil version. When the Almighty observes, we'll open the door and we'll see a good version. Yeah, the good version of you. Yeah. So this is how, it's very hard to understand, but this is how I link quantum physics to the Mandela effects, to show you how the kingdom will come. It says in the scripture that 2 men will be out there in field, and one will be taken away. One will be taken away. All that means is that you, the observer, yeah, well, the Almighty can phase you out. Even the energy that composes your body. The only way that will happen is when you're completely evil, where every version of you is evil. Yeah, and he can't find one that he can put into his kingdom. Then all of you will be phased out. Yeah, that's the only time that will happen. But every one of us, even if we're evil, there must be a version of us that's good. Yeah, if there isn't, then you would disappear. When the Almighty observes his creation to clean it up, those unpleasantries would disappear. Yeah, when man does it, we'll always know that he done it. The way he does it is to do gaslighting, where he asks people to act like something that happened didn't happen. Yeah, you've all been in places where, let's say, you're in an internet cafe, you use a computer, and somebody sees you going away at your desk, then goes and changes the computer, changes something on the computer, or opens up something, and then you come back and you say, I didn't open this, and everyone is in on it. And then you tell everyone, make sure you just act like nobody touched it. And everyone will say, no one touched your computer. You're imagining things. That's you. Yeah. So when it's a man that's doing it, it will be gaslighting like that. Yeah. But then when you do your research, you find residuals, and you might even find a camera that shows the guy going over to your desk and changing what was in your computer screen. Yeah. But before you check the camera, he could make you believe that that you did it, but you just can't remember. That's when they do it. That's their psyops. When the Almighty does it, it's some real shit, because he was there to view the universe, to bring it into creation. Yeah, he's the one who fixed us at this phase. Yeah. So when he looks again at this phase, yeah, he'll get rid of the versions which have crept in that are evil in mind. He'll get rid of those, and we'll see their good versions. Yeah. Next time we make a choice, and we'll go into this universe when it's just filled with the good. We're not good, they're neutral, because good and evil is man-made concept and doesn't really exist in nature. Yeah, in nature, negative energy and positive energy are good. Because you need both of them for existence to happen. So the concept of good and evil won't happen. But people who are destructive to the universe, I suppose, in an unhealthy, unhelpful way, are the ones who will be phased out. Yeah. And we'll just end up seeing what the Almighty wants us to see. Yeah. But bear in mind, when the Almighty comes, that's the ultimate observer coming to observe the universe. The one that observed it into creation. In the beginning, there was nothing. Yeah. There was nothing but the unformed God. Unformed creator. Yeah. In his unformed self. Now, I've already told you about what your unformed self is. Yeah. So, in the beginning, there was an unformed being. Then he brought form. Yeah. Then he said, let there be light, let there be. Then he brought form. And when he did that, that's what the form looked like. At different phases, all the universes were created at the same time by the same creator. Just by observing it, he fixed it. He fixed a universe where we could come. Yeah, there's other versions of it out there as well. And every time we look, different versions of people happen. Yeah, sometimes you look and all there is just evil. Yeah, sometimes you look and all there is just good. Sometimes you look and it fluctuates like that, because we've all got our own resonance, our own brains. Yeah. And it's a mixing of choices. The mixing of choices is something that even science can't grasp yet. But this is just a comment on how the Almighty's kingdom will come. It's just a phasing out of all the different versions of you, so that you're left with one that he wants. When a man tries to do it, that will be gaslighting, and simple research would lead you to deduce that that's just a magic trick. So don't lose hope. Even science suggests that there is an ultimate viewer who must have viewed the universe for it to come into creation, for it to be this phase. And there are other phases out there that manifested as a result. That's it.